What about this new chapter? What kind of memory is going to create?
Well, my memories, I suppose, are different because I don't have the long, that long association. And so the experience for me, it's not so much one memory, was joining something, right? That was already so established and being welcomed in. And I guess there were a couple of moments. Actually, the first thing that we did was a Zoom read through. So I was sat in the attic of the house that I was in at the time, because it's the only place I could set the computer up, and then seeing, on the screen, like 50 faces.
Yeah.
All these guys obviously, and everybody else, and Maggie trying to figure out her Zoom. And I mean, that was my moment of thinking, oh my God, I'm in Downton Abbey. It was so weird, but it was really magical, and it was kind of private because, as I say, I was in my attic,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Maggie Smith was on Zoom.
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems in this movie especially, the difference between the two floors became less. Yeah. I don't know if it's because it's a new era, it's a new chapter, or maybe because finally they became a huge one family. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it's different in this film because actually we don't normally get to kind of do that many scenes together. There's certain actors that you don't see. Like I rarely see Leslie Nichol, who plays Mrs. Patmore. It's a treat if I ever get to go down to the kitchens and do a scene with Daisy and Mrs. Patmore. So this film definitely kind of brings us all together. It was really interesting, wasn't it? Because it was so different from any other storyline, and less kind of dinner scenes, less sort of grand kind of, there was sort of less grandeur. It was more sort of, I don't know, felt more kind of balanced.
It's a very different world from when Downton Abbey started in 1912. A very different world. As you say, the upstairs and downstairs are beginning to mix much more. There are less strictures. Mr. Carson isn't around quite as much to sort of keep those strictures in place, I suppose. It was nice. It was nice to it was lovely to do scenes with you and and to get dressed up and not having to wear sort of, high collars and things like that.
So you didn't know anything about the movies?
No, they sort of there were whispers during the last season that was maybe an ambition that Julian had, but it was really not set in stone. And
no one believed it would happen. A bit like we never thought there was going to be a second season, though.
Yeah.
When we finished the first season, I'll never forget Jim saying, "See you on the next job," but he meant somewhere else.
Yeah.
We never thought Downton was going to be what it is.
It seems, especially in this movie, that the difference between the two floors became, less visible.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because it's a new era, a new chapter, or maybe because finally they became a big, huge one family.
Yeah, the movie stars coming in is just a different leveler. In a similar way to when the royal family came, it's like you keep trumping who's got the higher status, but there's something about the glamour and the excitement that everyone feels around the film stars that come to Downton that I think you forget about the other order of things because they just trump it all.
And I think also that, as well at that time, the younger generation were kind of coming through more and it was much more progressive, and you feel that those kind of traditions start to relax just a little bit more, so you don't feel the kind of hierarchy so much. And I think that, that younger energy means that everyone's slightly more on a level playing field.
Is it true that you didn't know about the movies when the series was ending?
No, we didn't, did we?
Yeah, it was just for the ending, wasn't it?
Do you remember people used to ask and think we were lying all the time?
Yeah.
We'd be like, no, we don't. We didn't.
We always knew. Yeah, I mean, it was always it was translatable to become a movie, but it was never said. So we thought that was it once it was done. But thankfully it wasn't.
Yeah.
And it seems in this movie especially that the difference between the two floors became less visible. Is it because it's a new era, or just because it's finally a huge one family, in your opinion?
Oh, I don't think it's huge one family.
No.
I think it's just that they all went on holiday and we just took over.
I guess when the film crew come in, it's like everything's up for grabs.
Yeah.
So the house just isn't functioning normally. And there's a hierarchy within that film crew. Myrna come in and the director, and there's these big egos that come into the house that are from a separate world. So they need to be the top of their own hierarchy. So everything's kind of up for grabs. Class is not the most important thing when the film crew come in.
They told me about this huge meeting you had on Zoom, and Maggie Smith couldn't go through the camera or everything, and I wish I was there.
Was that the read-through?
The read-through was
quite
amazing. Yeah.
She sighed a lot.
Yeah, and we were texting each other, weren't we?